Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Striking Ground. I'm your host, Steve G. This card coming up at the Apex, first one at the new renamed Meta Apex. We'll start with the main card. I'd like to get in it with Dustin Jacoby and Walker. I like Jacoby. He's a good kickboxer, tall, rangy, likes to come in with ill intent, and to go for a finish versus being a point fighter. He's just a little older, but I did notice during the weigh-ins he looked really ripped. I'm going for him on this one. Then going off into the next bout with Gene Matsumoto versus Basharat, one of the Basharat brothers. Now, this gentleman, he's undefeated, 14-0. He has a well-rounded game. I was watching one of his fights and I felt it was kind of boring. He's kind of a smart type fighter that wants to outpoint you and win like that, but he does have some hands behind him too. It's just that Gene Matsumoto's coming off of a loss and he's a little vicious guy, man. Not a lot of people realize that Rob Font has good boxing and closes the distance with his boxing very well and has one of the most underrated jabs in the bantamweight division. And he was able to overwhelm Matsumoto in one of his previous fights where a lot of people might judge Matsumoto by that performance and they have him as an underdog, but I feel like he's hungry and he's on his way. So I'm going with that underdog on that one. Now let's go off into Mikhail Alajeshkovic versus MAB, Marc-Andre Barriault. Now this guy from Canada, he was a champion in another organization. He has really good cardio. His way of getting a lot of W's is by overwhelming his opponents, a lot of pressure, keeping them on the back foot, making them tire out, using a combination of his wrestling with striking, and being that he's a wrestler, when he's facing strikers, they have to keep their arms particularly lower to avoid getting taken down to give themselves a better chance of being able to get an underhook when he shoots. So that always makes a wrestler's striking look better. But what happens is sometimes they take too long before they implement their game plan, what their bread and butter is, and take them to the ground. I'll give you an example like last week when the Tafa brother fought Billy Alicana. If you watch that fight, it looked like Alicana smiled at him and said, okay, I'll give you that. He got caught. He got dazed. I even think he got dropped. I really like the Alicana kid because when you see the second round, when it started, he immediately got him down and implemented his jits and submitted him really easily. So it made me feel like he was just kind of giving the Tafa brother a chance. And he's really game. So back to this week, Marc-Andre Barriault. See, the thing is, when you know what a guy's going to do, it becomes easier to game plan against him. So don't get it mistaken. When I use Alicana as an example, I didn't want to make it seem like he had a bad game plan by not immediately going to the ground. You have to mix it in. And when they're fresh, they can hit you with a knee when you go for that takedown. If you don't mix it in, wait for them to throw a two, come under it, double leg them, or what have you. So there's a lot of technical skills involved and precaution that's necessary to execute these moves. With that, Mikhail Alajeshkovic and MAB, I know Mikhail, he's on a 2-fight win streak. He's lost to a lot of top dogs. He came in young. I feel he could have went to a weight class lower because he doesn't look like he's really in shape as far as cut-wise, so maybe he'd be able to cut some weight and still be able to fit in at a welterweight, let's just say. Now, he has the better hands. He's vicious. He likes to go in there and scrap. He's been working on his takedown defense. AB isn't a particularly big middleweight as well. I see that if it stays standing up and he's able to stuff MAB's takedowns, avoid him from getting him on the ground, or even if he was to be able to get taken down, if he's able to get back up, I see MAB having a problem, especially if Mikhail could get him on his back foot. I just hope that he doesn't get head hunting hungry and stays smart and attacks Barriault's body. He has so much cardio and endurance, it'll be hard to knock him out, even though he's been slept before. You want to go ahead and chop down the body as much as you can, especially if it's open and you got the guy balling up against the cage versus risking breaking your feet like Diego Lopez did last week. I watched it live. One of the kicks came upward to come under the guard of Volk and kicked his elbow. You have to be aware of these things. So I'm going to go with Alejeshwick, even though Barrios possesses a lot of that Alejeshwick has been having problems with before, with the wrestling, being taken and held down. So with the Gelton Almeida match versus Riznan Kuniev, this gentleman came from the PFL. He fought that big guy that fought Ngannou, and it went to a no contest. And before that, he was having a good streak of some wins. He came into the UFC. I know he fought Blades and went to a decision, and he's looking pretty good. He is an all-round fighter. He's hungry. He seems to be focused. Now, when you grade a fighter, let's just say you have him at an 8.5 and he's fighting a 9.5 guy. If the 9.5 guy isn't as hungry, has that silk sheet effect, already reached the pinnacle he's wished to reach, and the other guy is hungrier, oh, just that difference is huge. This is a game of inches. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out, considering Almeida is a kind of a smaller heavyweight and he's a one-trick pony. A lot of people know already what he's going to do. He hasn't had as much success late as much as he had in the beginning of his UFC career, burning through the contenders till he got ranked. Now he's been facing more stiffer competition, and we're getting a chance to see his true colors and how he fares against people that have takedown defense in wrestling themselves. So this is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to go with Kuniev. I just think he's hungrier. Now, the Amir Obazi versus Kyoji Horiguchi. I love this Horiguchi guy. He's underrated. I've been watching him since before he left the UFC his first time. He's fought all the top dogs. He's got 30-something wins, and he's got very few losses for those wins. And those losses came from the likes of ex-champions and solidified fighters. Albazi is coming off of a loss, and he's hungry. He's a big flyweight as well. This is going to be a real test for Horiguchi to see if whether or not he's still able to compete at the highest level at this age, and if he's going to continue with what it seems to be a focused on my way to the title reign since he's been back in the organization. I'm going to go with the focused Horiguchi. I'm say it's going to go to decision. I think taking the over would be a good one on that one. Now, the main event, Vinicius. I love this kid. He's very confident. He's very dangerous on the feet. Decent takedown defense. Very big. 5'9". Bautista is as well. Bautista has very good endurance. Very good cardio. With good cardio, majority of the time, you have very good recovery time. If your chin is still there, how he's been winning is keeping people on their back feet, making it ugly, getting them against the cage. He's kind of a boring fighter. It's funny because I watched an interview by Vinicius, and he said, I think the UFC put me up against him so they could have me take him out of there because he's a boring fighter and I'm an exciting fighter. It's funny because it's kind of true. Bautista is a boring fighter. He's there to win, but he's hungry. He's saying, put me in there. He's a big bantamweight. He's got cardio. He's got endurance. He's got game plan. He's went up against the best. He's won 8 out of his 9 last fights. Lost to the likes of Umar Nurmagomedov, who's a technician, that's a well-rounded fighter who came off a loss himself versus the ex-champion Merab Dvalishvili. So that was a tough matchup for Bautista, and he lost by decision. And if you watch at the end of the bell, he was coming towards Umar. He even felt that if they had a couple extra rounds, his cardio would have came in a favor. With that being said, my first thought is Bautista is going to be able to get a decision with his cardio, maybe get him down or keep him up against the fence. Probably be a boring fight, but be able to hold them there. It's just that these kids nowadays that are coming up a ranked 4th to 6th fighter in the bantamweight division right now could have easily have been the champion 15 years ago. Being that the game of mixed martial arts, the sport, the craft, continues to grow. So Bautista is hungry. Vinicius might be overlooking him. I think he's underestimating him. I think he might be looking past him. It's just that Bautista is going to need to land some punishment, or to get some points, he's going to need to land a takedown. He's going to need to come forward. I think if Bautista tries to win the fight off of his back foot with lateral movement or that type of running away game plan, it's a bad idea. I think Bautista, you need to stay coming forward, being the aggressor, controlling the center of the octagon, keeping Vinicius on his back foot, exploiting that cardio that we tend to see wilt in the later rounds. This is a 5-round match. I would stay away from Vinicius' right hand for the better half of the fight, where he's most strong, and may the best man win. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Please leave a comment and a subscribe, share. Let me know what you think about the matchups. Tell me who you got. And here goes a 3-pick for you. Let's take the over on the Vinicius. Let's take the Alejuish, and let's go ahead and take Horiguchi. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. God bless, folks.